personality, a person named Michael Cahill who believed God had called him to Amherst to do something large, and he was able to gather a significant number of families around him who already knew him and appreciated his preaching and his personality, and we were like, yeah, let's go for it.
Our pastor, Michael Cahill, was a real Bible teacher, and he had about 21 Christian principles that he felt that everyone should go through and understand. Well, he went through that about 3 times.
I remember we were standing in the doorway between our dining room and kitchen, wondering what we were going to do, and decided that we would invite Michael and whoever wanted to come to our home. And so Christ Church actually started there on Holt Road, and we met there 2 Sundays.
We met a number of times, I think, at the Johnsons, inside and outside. The next place that we met was in the bar at a restaurant in the area, I forget what
The Amherst post office is.
near where the Amherst post office is.
Across from the Black Forest, there was a shopping center at the time, and somebody gave us the upstairs of that place.
It was a restaurant.
Okay, I don't.
Yeah, it was a restaurant.
I'd never been in a bar before.
It was a restaurant too.
Okay. We always seem to end up in the bar.
So people would come in at for their noontime meal, and we would be having a worship service. B.J. Benkin was playing an accordion at some times, and we were singing, and the restaurateurs were in the background listening and sort of being a balcony to the Christ Church. And we met there for several weeks.
We moved to the Amherst Middle School, and we were there for a good year.
I think, right? Middle school, and then the
Middle school.
gymnasium.
Right.
And that began the agonizing schlepping in and out of myriads of stuff, equipment, which nearly burned everybody out.
It did burn everybody out.
Tough.
I would also note that I remember teaching a very young Sunday school class of kids in a little tiny closet in that school, and I said to myself, I will never do this again. I was praying for the rapture because it was extremely difficult, and we had to set everything up and take everything down. It's a lot of work.
Right from the beginning, it was friendly, it was loving.
There was such a spirit of family, and we can do this, and God is gonna grow us.
It was a church where people, I think, felt welcome and felt loved if they were willing to stop and analyze what was going on.
We didn't think about what could go wrong. We didn't think about how to do it. It was just like, let's do church. Let's just do it.
It drew people to itself. The sermons were wonderful, and the music was great too.
For worship in the early days of Christ Church, a few people come to mind. Think of Ray Pribble, who was a doc who played the piano, keyboard, an amazing, accomplished pianist, and he could play anything that was given to him. No practice, flawless. Peter Clements, Howard Hayakawa were guitarists, and Peter was a wonderful worship leader, very enthusiastic and very funny, and it just made worship come alive.
You know, Christ Church from the very beginning has been about creativity and events. The very first year, we had a full Christmas program in the Benkins' living room.
That's right.
Costumes, music, the whole 9 yards.
Everybody did something. I believe Jim Stratton was Sunday school superintendent one time. I was Sunday school superintendent.
And pretty soon, I think we already mentioned talent shows and harvest dinners. We had a harvest dinner every year. We had, Christmas program every single year. We had a fantastic youth group.
We did music, not all the time, but we did music. I mean, everybody, I taught Sunday school. We all had jobs, we all worked. And that helped pull us together.
You know, I don't think any of us had ever been a part of a church startup before. So we were absolutely flying by the seat of our pants, and we were having, as Dick said, a blast. One of the early sermon series that Michael did was called Blasting Through Granite.
Yes.
And just talking about how challenging it is to break through the New England reserve and making ourselves relevant to our community. And he likened it to trying to blast through New Hampshire granite. And I've always remembered that. I've always remembered that theme as no different today than it was then.